Hey, y'all, happy Wednesday. Hope everybody is having an amazing Wednesday. I hope everybody has been having an amazing week thus far. And I pray that you continue to have an amazing week. So, if this is your first time here, welcome. I'm Patrice, and this is Craftable Things. And we do a lot of different crafting and things like that. Even though tonight's live is going to be simply me working inside of Silhouette Studio, showing how to do something that I've never really shown on YouTube before. But anybody who's taken my advanced rhinestone class for the past few, maybe like since maybe about 8 months ago, I do teach how to do this inside of my advanced rhinestone class. And so I'm going to come on here and share this with you guys because we do have a few rhinestone classes coming up. But this is not really going to be that structured. I'm probably not going to be answering many technical questions. So if you do have some type of design experience and some experience using Silhouette Studio, you'll be able to follow along to see exactly what it is that I'm doing. However, if you are a complete beginner, you might want to take my beginner rhinestone design class. That is linked below. I will be doing a beginner rhinestone design class on Saturday, February 3rd, and Evie of the Baby's Booty and I will be doing an advanced rhinestone class on February 4th. Okay, and so with the advanced rhinestone class, if you choose to take that one, we are not going to be going over basic design skills. So you will need to have some type of design experience. But for that one of my students is calling me. For that one, a part of the class, I cover the design portion and Eve covers the business aspect of incorporating rhinestones into your business. So it is like a two-part class. Both classes are generally long. However, I am working on the advanced class so that Evie can have more time for the business aspect part because I do take up a lot of time with the design portion. And then with the beginners class, that's usually about 4 hours. You need just basic, you need to know how to maneuver a computer for the beginner class. But we go over just basics of the software, the rhinestone panel, how to create outlines, how to, which fill to select, and that sort of thing. We don't cover any of the more technical design components of doing rhinestones. And y'all, guess what? Your girl has gotten Corel Draw, the Rhinestone World Wizard. So I can't wait to show you guys that and what I've been working on with my new software. The Corel Rhinestone software, Rhinestone World software, is pretty pricey. But I haven't found anything that I can do in there that I can't do in Silhouette Studio. And if you don't know, we're going to be using Silhouette Studio, the business edition, tonight. The difference between the business edition and the free edition is that it has the rhinestone panel. You also get access to other panels. You also are able to save your designs and use them in other softwares with the business edition. And right now, I think it's only like $50. So I would totally recommend it because it is amazing for what it does for my bling. But let me see who's here because y'all just been chatting and chatting and chatting and chatting. Hey, Mirror Bear. Y'all, Marilyn will be on live. And if you are not subscribed to Marilyn's channel, that's Making with Marilyn. She's on the screen right here. If you're not subscribed to her channel, please make sure that you are subscribed to her channel. She's almost at 30,000 YouTube subscribers. She's almost at 30,000 YouTube subscribers. That's a lot of people. Please help her get to 30,000 if you are not already subscribed to her. Now, if you come on my channel or her channel and watch us bling together and stuff like that, and you're not subscribed, shame on you. Just saying. But hey, Mirror Bear. Hey, Cheryl Green. Hey, Miss Leslie Tibbs. Hey, Dempsey Boo. 23 months. I know. Dempsey Boo. I love you. I can't believe it's been almost 2 years. That means I'm gonna have to get down and go over there to get the bell. Don't want me to get the bell today. Y'all know y'all not gonna be able to hear it because I think I turned on noise cancellation. I think I did, but thank you for being here for 23 months, Dempsey Boo. I've been talking all this time, and I don't even know if y'all could really hear me or not. I got my other mic on today. Hey, Miss Cheryl, welcome in. Hey, Karen D, welcome. Hey, Elena, welcome. Hey, Sandra. Hey, Jennifer. Y'all know I'm about to scroll down. Oh, yes. Thank you, Elena. Make sure that you give this video a thumbs up. And if this is your first time here, thank you for being here. And if you have not chosen to subscribe to this channel, make sure you click the subscribe button. Make sure you click the like button. Tonight's video, like I said earlier, we're going to be designing. I'm not going to be answering many technical questions. So you will probably just have to follow along. If you want, you can probably, if you have another computer open, you can actually go through the whole process with me as well on another tablet or computer. I would suggest a computer on another computer just to kind of get an idea. But this is something that I teach in my advanced rhinestone class. So the advanced rhinestone class, I told you guys a little bit about the beginners, but the advanced rhinestone class, we go over we're turning PNGs into rhinestones. We do this technique, turning a portrait. We work on ombre. We work on, there's quite a few things, different things that we work on in the advanced rhinestone class. I don't know. I'm a little tired, but I missed y'all. And y'all, while I've been away, so if you guys didn't know, I was at Long Beach, at the Long Beach Impressions show from last week, Thursday until Sunday. And I had a great time. I got to network with so many different people. I got to hang out with some other influencers. And I had a really, really good time learning different things and seeing, what's new. And I had a great time. So I do have a vlog that I need to edit. But we don't know. We got other things to do. But I did get a chance to hang out with Angel Boo, Angel B Designs. And we were actually supposed to be doing some bling, but we didn't. And so I actually cut some templates for us, right? So I cut templates for us. I had rhinestones in my suitcase. I had brushes in my suitcase. I had KTM masks in my suitcase. And guess what? We didn't do any blinging. Hey, Donzel. Hey, LaShawn. We didn't do any blinging. Hey, Delonda. We didn't do any blinging at all. Hey, Rachel. Hey, everybody that came in. I'm scrolling down. I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm scrolling down. Oh, Tim, girl, wait, I ain't seen you in a minute. And happy 24 months. Thank you, Taryn, to all my members. Anybody who is a current member, past member, or possibly a future member, thank you for being a member on this channel. I appreciate it. I do have some fun things planned for us. I know I did tell the members about doing like a mentorship for 2 people for 6 months, and I'm working on the video for that because you will have to complete a form so that I'll know what it is that we're going to be working on. This particular project for me needs to be intentional on both of our parts. So it's not just going to be like, oh, you get 6 months of my time. That's not how that's going to go. So it's going to have to be very intentional in the form. I'm going to have to know exactly what it is that you're looking for what you're trying to do. So it's not just going to be like one of my regular giveaways where you win a one-on-one with me. It could be whatever. No, it has to be very intentional. So that's coming. That is coming. That is coming. Delon, you better put those technical questions up. We're not doing technical questions tonight, Delonda. So y'all, so Angel and I, so we didn't even get a chance to do this. I should have let her take these templates home, and I feel bad because we didn't get a chance to do it. So one of the templates, I don't know if you guys can see it, but this is actually SS10, but it's gonna be I do SS6, but I do have it in SS10. But this one just says unclickable. I don't know if y'all get it. Hopefully y'all will get it. If not, then that's just something that I have to do. So I have two versions of this design though. One says clickable, not clickable, but clickable spelled like clickable, CLICKABLE. I don't know. Maybe corny. But this is one we didn't get a chance to do this one. Y'all, I've made so many templates over the past 2 weeks and have not put them up. And then this one just says one, like how I have the one loved chick design. This one just says one, it says like one crafty chick. I love this one. And this one's SS10 though. So I don't think I might have did that one in SS6. I don't know, but and y'all, while I was away, another thing. All right, I'm scrolling down. I'm always hey Barb. I know you probably saw I met Romero Threads at Impressions. I was like, hey, so Brianna, who is our rep at Racoma, she was kind of like talking to him when I walked up, and she was like, hey, Patrice, and I'm like, oh, I know him. That's Romero Threads. And so I only know because of Barb. Barb was the first person who told me about Romero Threads on Saturdays. But I told him, I'm like, I used to watch on Saturday mornings, but you don't do Saturday mornings. And he said, so I guess he changed his day to another day. And so I did see him, I don't know if that was last night or the night before last. He was working in Chroma Inspire. But I did tell him that it was because of Barb. Well, happy birthday, Miss Valerie. Happy birthday. Hey, Marshetta. Oh, to Angel, it was so draining. It was a lot to do. It was nonstop. And I don't even think we were even able to hit every booth at Expo. So if you are like into like crafting, but not just crafting, like the apparel industry, you definitely want to try going to some of the expo shows because you get a chance to see a lot of different things when they're breaking the show down. If you live in that city, you have the opportunity to buy the floor equipment at very, very good pricing because they don't want to pack it back up and send it back to wherever they came from. So you do have like good opportunities there. I think that works best if you actually live in the city where it's being hosted. If you don't, like, who want to ship all that stuff? Like, that stuff is heavy. It is heavy. Yep. So, Delonda, I was prepared to bling with Angel, but it was just nonstop. We really didn't get a chance to stop and bling. And by the time we got back to our hotel, we were like, see you tomorrow. Like, good night, good riddance. It's been a day. So I don't know. That just sucks. Because I was prepared, Delonda. I did what I was supposed to do. Yes, Romero is amazing. Monday night. Okay, that was Monday. All right, y'all. So we're gonna get ready to head into Silhouette Studio, but before I forget, because I forgot. But now that we're talking, y'all, let me just tell you guys. So I guess like last week sometime, I didn't even see it because I was just so like I was doing like a lot of different things. But yo, we hit 75,000 YouTube subscribers. Y'all are amazing. That is a lot of people. Thank you so much for subscribing to this channel and being on this Hot Mess Express crafty train. I appreciate all of you guys. I appreciate all your support. I appreciate all of you guys who inbox me, even though I can't get to all the messages. But trust me, I do see them. Now, the ones who ask me questions about, can I help them fix their machine? Can I help them do this? I see those, but I'm not responding to those because I don't have time. I barely have time to fix my own machines. So for all of you guys who love on me, send me messages, wish me well, check on me when I'm missing, and yeah, y'all rock, and I appreciate you guys. You have no idea how much that means to me. You have no idea how much that means to me. So thank you so much. And you already know I'm trying to plan another little giveaway for us because 75,000 subscribers is a lot of people. That is a lot. That's a lot of people. So I want to do a giveaway. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to give away just yet. But in the next few weeks, look out for that. All right, so let's head into, thanks everybody. Thanks, Gabby. Let's head into Silhouette Studio. All right, so tonight we are going to be doing, I'm going to share my entire screen. And just know that I do have another chat up, but I'm probably not going to really be looking too much at the chat. I'm gonna look at it. But it's y'all will see. So let's get started. All right, so now we're inside of Silhouette Studio, and this is where I design all of my rhinestone templates until maybe like 3 weeks ago when I purchased the Rhinestone World software for making templates. Okay. And I'm still learning that software. It's definitely, this has been really easy for me to learn. But that software, I gotta, get myself together. So we're going to head over to the right. Again, we're using the business edition of Silhouette Studio. Okay. This is not the basic. What we're doing in the business edition, you cannot do this in the basic edition of Silhouette Studio, the free edition, okay? If you want to look at the business edition, I do have a link listed below in the description that will take you to Swing Design. It is an affiliate link, but with Swing Design right now, it's on sale for $49.99. If you plan on taking any of my rhinestone classes as of now, until I learn Corel Draw or until I learn the Rhinestone World portion of it, all of my classes focus or go through Silhouette Studio for you to be able to learn how to convert your files into rhinestones. Okay, so oh, thank you, Rachel. Thanks, everybody, and welcome in. I hope y'all are having a great Wednesday. So the first thing I want to do is I want to change the media size, and to access that, all you're going to do is select the page setup panel at the top, and we're going to change that size. So 12 by 12 is a preset size within Silhouette Studio, so I can just go ahead and click there. Now, if this was a custom size canvas that we're trying to create, we would just input the measurements there. All right. Hey, Jesse. Welcome. All right. So first thing we need to do is talk about the photos. So we're going to create a rhinestone portrait. It's really a silhouette. It's not, you're not gonna, get detailed, like super, super detailed, but it's going to be enough so that you can see exactly who it is. All right. So if you saw the thumbnail, that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing prints. Right, so you don't want to pick portraits that are small. It works really good when you have like a clear defined facial structure so that you can create those outlines to be able to create your templates. Okay, if you saw like 2 weeks ago, I did the Martin Luther King one, and that's honestly that's why I'm doing this tonight, because I had several people who, I didn't respond to your emails, but I had several people who sent me emails asking me if I could show this, if I could do a video on it. I don't really want to do a video. I prefer to just do a live on it because I don't really want to have to edit that and all that stuff. So we're doing the video to show you guys how to do it. Okay. So Marchetta, the advanced rhinestone class is going to be next week, Sunday, February 4th. A link is listed below. The link for the advanced class will take you to Eve's website because I do the class with her. So I teach the design portion of it, and then Eve teaches the business portion of it. So how you can make money with Bling, what to sell it for, and she gives different ideas on how you can be successful with selling Bling designs or not Bling. I kind of talk a little bit more about Bling design. She talks about the finished products. Okay, so let's see. So now we're going to go ahead. I am going to bring in the image that we're going to be using, and to do that, I need to select merge. I already downloaded the image that we're going to be using, and as y'all see, we're going to be using a little bit of prints today. All right, so this is the Prince portrait that we're going to be looking, or that we're going to be converting into rhinestones. Y'all, this is not going to take us much time. Okay, the one thing that will take us time is if I decide to go through and try to maneuver all the stones. I will show you all what I typically do once I convert it into rhinestones inside a Silhouette Studio, but I don't teach this inside the class because not everybody has all the different softwares that I have. Okay, so here's the portrait, and the portrait is pretty big. It's 13.889 by 13.889. That's huge. But of course, you know that it's still measuring parts that we really don't need. Okay, so I am just going to bring Prince down. We don't want him too big. And right now he's about 10.6. We can even make him a little bit smaller. The one thing with rhinestone designing is that the larger your image is, the more details that you're going to be able to get. Usually the better it comes. That's why people like huge templates, because the bigger, the better with rhinestones, right? But if you go too big, you're not going to be able to put it on certain size shirts. So you always have to have the size in mind and what you're going to be placing the template onto, okay? So let's see. No worries, Naomi. No worries, no worries. All right. I'm trying to keep up with the chat a little bit, but we shall see. All right. So this is Prince. Now, there are several things that we could do. I'm actually going to export this out, or I'm going to open this up in remove.bg because it's so easy. But there are other softwares where you can remove the background out super, super easy, because I don't really want this background. Now, inside of the class, I teach how to overcome that, how to, kind of get that background gone so you don't have to worry about going out of this software into another site. But we're going to go into another site because I feel like that's going to give me the best option that I want, because I actually want to create the shadow layer, but I also want the non-negative portion of it, and you guys will see what I mean. So I want it to be kind of like, it's going to be two different color rhinestones. If you saw the Martin Luther King design that I did, it's intended to be like a shadow layer. So it gets all of his facial structure, it gets the shape of his head, like mostly, but part of it where the light from the photo was hitting his face, I didn't get that part. Well, we're going to get that part here. Okay, we're going to get that part here. And I'm going to show you guys. And to get that part, we're going to remove the background completely. Now, with the photos, if we were to go into, we're going to do this twice. Okay, so I'm going to show you two different ways. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and make a copy of this and put it over to the side. And to make that copy, all I'm doing, I'm working on a MacBook, and I'm just holding down the Option key. I hovered over the photo, and then I left clicked, and then I just dragged over. That's an easy way to make a duplicate. If you want to, you can click onto the photo, right click, and then you can just select duplicate, right? It's up to you. Whatever is easy for you, whatever works best for you, that's what you do. Okay, don't be stressed out because somebody else does something a certain way and you don't do it that way. That's perfectly fine. Let them do it that way and you're going to do it your way. Okay, all right. So now we have our photo on the canvas that we're going to work on first. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to head over to we don't want the trace panel. We want the image effects panel. And so the image effects panel, you can do a grayscale. You can, work with the contrast of the color. You can do so many different things. So that's what we're going to do. So ideally, depending on the picture, I'll probably work here, or I might just go ahead and remove the background. All right. But I'm going to show you why I just want to go ahead and remove the background today. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and select the image panel. And this is the image effects panel. All right. So the first thing we have like the grayscale here, or gray shade. It's called gray shade inside of Silhouette Studio. So the picture's already selected, and we are just going to simply drag it over to kind of give us that black and white look, right? So now we have our black and white look. I need to click apply because if you don't click apply, it will not be effective, okay? It's going to turn back purple, so you need to click apply. Hey, everybody, just coming in. Welcome. All right, so now we have Mr. Prince right here. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to head over to the contrast, brightness, and saturation tab, okay? That's the one that looks like the sun. All right, y'all see the little sun? That's what that one is. And so now I'm going to kind of play around with the brightness and the contrast just so that I can be able to do a good image trace, because we're going to do an image trace to kind of separate it a little bit. I really want that shadow. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust that brightness. And whew, that's so once you start doing it too much, it becomes, you'll see, right? So I want to be able to get as much of his face as possible. This took away some of his nose. This took away like the shape right here. So I don't want that. So I need to kind of, bring some of that back so that when we do the image trace, it'll be able to pick that up, okay? So I usually work with the brightness. You can kind of slide it over to what works best for you. The only thing is that the background, it's still pretty dark, okay? It's still pretty dark. So let's see what else we can move around. So with the contrast will help to separate some of those colors, but it might be fine. The nose is still, like, I really want to see the nose. So that's the only part that I'm really worried about. If I could have like the outline around the nose, I'd probably just go ahead and convert it. But I really want people to know that this is Prince. I really want people to know that. So with the saturation, it doesn't do much. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm just going to bring a little bit, add a little contrast. Okay, so now we're going to select apply. Once we click apply, we're going to go ahead over to the right panel and open up the image trace panel. Hey, everyone. Hey, LaShunta. Hey, Jess. Hey, Spiral Box. Anita. Hey, oh, y'all. So, okay, so I didn't even tell you guys, I met Kevin. Kevin was acting so funny, like he didn't even know me, y'all. I had to run up on him like, Kevin, And we were literally, it was just so funny how everything happened though, because I was hungry and well, Angel and I were, I don't know if, I think I was hungry. Angel was just like, let me go with her to get some food. And then we walked up to the kiosk where they had like the food and stuff. And Kevin was there, like looking at the menu. And then I looked and I'm like, Kevin? And he was like, we were like standing next to each other for like a few minutes. And he just like totally ignored me. I was like, Kevin. So I got a chance to meet Kevin. I also got a chance to meet Miss Joy. All right, so here is the image trace panel. If you guys don't know, this is a way you can trace by color, you can trace by area, you can trace certain images. So if you have a PNG file that you want to use as an SVG, you want to break those colors up, this is what you would use. We go over this inside of the class in more detail, but this is what you would use. Okay, so now I have just the trace by area selected, and I am going to click select trace area, and then it changes the mouse into like this 4-way stop. You don't know. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to go over the photo, right? Once I go over the photo, it's going to start highlighting certain parts of the photo. And as you guys see, it's highlighting pretty much all of the darker areas. So all the areas where you see where he had his hair, it's highlighting all of that, okay? And that looks good. It's highlighting that chain around his neck. That's everything that is highlighting. Now, if you change the threshold, and I have a solid fill, you can do a solid fill or outline. We're going to go with the solid fill. All right. Hey, Latricia, we're going to go with the solid fill. Now, with the threshold, you can increase how much it grabs, or you can even decrease how much it grabs. But of course, if we're decreasing how much it grabs from here, I'm missing certain parts of his face, certain parts of the shadow, right? So I want to at least have it about right here. And because I like the beard, okay? So I would probably go about right there, okay? There's other things you can do, like the high pass. We're not doing high pass right now. This I'm just showing like a basic fill, but there's different things that you can do in the image panel, that image trace panel, that will help you kind of like do different things with the trace, okay? But we're not working with the high pass. You can do a little bit of despeckling. That's to help you kind of smooth it out a little bit, but in it, it's not really, you can see it's trying to smooth it out a little bit, but we're not going to really worry about that. We're going to leave it like this. But his beard, I really want that beard. I'm going to move over. All right. So if you notice, now mostly everything is highlighted, and then we have these two corners here that's highlighted because those are darker parts. Now, if I move that threshold slider all the way over, it's going to cover the entire image. We don't want that. Okay. So now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to head down to trace style. And in trace style, you can either trace, you can trace the outer edge, or you can trace and detach. Trace and detach literally means that I'm tracing this part. It's going to remove it from the original picture. Okay. I don't necessarily want to remove it. It's literally going to stamp it out or punch it or just take it out of the original picture. I don't want that. I want to just create a trace. Okay. So we're going to select trace. We're going to select trace. And now, as you guys see, once we did that, this is what we're left with. Okay. Once we created that trace, this is what we have. And all of these speckled lines right here, like if you see that where the beard was, it did a good job with tracing that. But if you were to turn that right now into rhinestones, it's literally just going to be a whole bunch of rhinestones on top of each other. Okay. That's what will end up happening. So I like to turn it one color, make it into a compound path so that everything kind of smoothens out a lot. All right. So if I minimize this, and right now there's no fill because this is simply a cut line. We're going to go ahead and you can either open up your color panel over here or fill panel over here on the side, or you can change your color up here in the top left corner. So I am going to simply select black. Oh, I don't have it selected. All right, then we're going to go ahead and we're going to turn that black. And then once he's turned black, you see the red still, right? So we're going to go ahead and we're going to remove all of the red outline around him. We don't really need this. Okay. So at this point, we can begin to get ready to turn this into rhinestones. But the only thing that I don't like right now is I don't like this part right here. I don't like the edge, like how we have over here. So I'm going to maximize this. Now there's a few things you can do. You can release, let's see, you can release the compound path, or what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to slice this out and see if I can slice it out of here. We may not be able to slice it out, but I'm going to see because I don't really want to have to worry about all of these. If I were to release the compound path, all of these thousands of little pieces, you guys see all of those little specks right there? Those will be released, and it will take a long time for me, at least inside of Silhouette Studio. Even his beard right here, that will take a long time as well. Okay, so let's see if we can just go ahead and get our knife tool out, and if my knife will slice it for me. I can't tell. Let's see. And then it might not do it for me. All right, let's see. It's going to slice that. So it's going to slice that right there. You also have an eraser. You can use your eraser if you want. I just prefer not to erase. My hand isn't really steady. It's not steady at all. At all. All right, so now it's going through the process. I told y'all my Silhouette Studio takes a long time. Y'all, how does my mic sound? I got a new mic. Well, it's not new, but I'm finally using it. I think I only used it like one time at all. Latricia, no. Hey, Judy. Hey, Greg. Recent edition. Yeah, there's a certain way that you have to upgrade it. I don't even remember how to upgrade it. Thanks, Claudette. Thanks, Sister Linda. Everybody, it sounds good. Thank you. Oh my goodness, I should have just pulled out the eraser. It's this. It doesn't look like it, but it's a lot of different parts of Prince. It's a lot of parts of Prince. Hey, Niall. Hey, Miss Rosalind. Hey, Stephanie and D. Smith. Hey, everybody. Okay, so I'm not going to worry about doing this just yet, but I do want you guys to see. So remember how I did the knife tool, right? And the knife, here's our knife. Y'all see where I cut it? So now all I have to do, y'all see that line right there where I cut it? All you do is click it and you move it out of the way and you can delete that out of the way. Okay, so that's how I usually kind of clean up when I have a situation like this where the background is a little bit too dark and I still end up picking up some of the color from the background. All right, that's how I do it. That's what works for me. I don't usually use the eraser tool, but you can. The eraser tool works just fine. Like you can just go and zap some of that stuff. All right, so here I'm going to put this one on the side for now. We'll remember this Prince, but we can turn that into rhinestones. So we'll turn that into rhinestones a little bit later because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove the background. So we're going to head over to, look, y'all see when I cut it, this is what happened. Look at poor Prince's face over there. Oh, hold on. Let me move him out the way. So all of this is together, but my part right here, His whole little face got left over on the side. No face left behind. All right, let me. Okay, so here's another thing that you guys got to see. Y'all see, so when I cut it, that's another thing that happened when I cut it. It kind of broke up whatever was here. So if I just select over here, I can select all of that. I don't want to select that. And now I can just go ahead and delete it. Y'all see all those little pieces? Remember I told you when with this, like how many pieces there were? There's so many tiny pieces. Let's see if I could get all of that. I don't want to get his face though. Let's see. Okay, so most of that got cleaned up. Not too bad. And then there's some parts. So if you just drag your mouse over, you'll be able to see. Y'all see all that in his beard? Don't worry. He's okay. All right, I don't want to get that part. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and select all of this. And then we are going to right click and we're going to just group all of that together for now. Okay, so just remember this was our original image trace and all this other stuff. I still need to make it into a compound path, but it's a lot. And I know I just grouped this and this is like thousands of pieces. All right, so let's minimize Mr. Symbol. All right, so now I'm going to go out of Silhouette Studio. We're going to head into Safari. And I'm going to go to remove.bg. All right, so now we're remove.bg. If you've never heard of remove.bg, you can remove your backgrounds from anywhere. You can remove the backgrounds on your phone. Okay, if you have iPhones, a simple hard press will remove that background for you. You don't even have to do all of this stuff anymore like this. It's so easy. The only place that I think it's not easy to really remove the background in is Adobe Illustrator. You just got to do a whole bunch of work to get that background out. But in remove.bg, you will be able to simply upload your image. So right now we're going to upload the Prince image that we downloaded. And I did download this from off of Google. We're going to download that. And it's going to remove the background. All right, so this looks good to me. He looks good. All the background is gone. Everything looks fine. So what I usually look at, I don't pay for remove.bg because I have other programs that will remove backgrounds for me really easy. But if you don't have those, you don't have to pay. They do have a remove.bg. The one thing with remove.bg from the past, I don't use it often. But I wanted to give you guys some place if you don't, have any place else to get it from. The one thing with remove.bg is sometimes the quality of the picture, you can lose the quality of your picture when you're doing it this way. For rhinestones, it doesn't really matter unless it was pixelated. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and click download. That background is gone. Again, y'all see I'm not signed in. I'm not logged in. I haven't signed up for it. They do charge for parts of this, but that's free. Anybody can go on and do it. Remove.bg has been around for a long time. So now we're going to head back into Silhouette Studio. And now that we're in Silhouette Studio, we are simply going to bring in that file. So I'm going to go to merge. And then here is our image that we just removed the background from. I'm going to go ahead and delete that one from the center because we don't need it. We don't need it. We don't need it. All right, so let's get ready to work with Prince. All right, so as y'all see, it still looks good. The background is gone, but we have these red outlines or this red outline around it for the cut line. We're just going to go ahead and remove that because I don't like it. Hey, Josie. Welcome in. Remove the background of pics by long pressing on the picture. Oh, girl, don't come telling me nothing about Android phones. Oh, Android phones can remove backgrounds too. Nobody said that. I just said, about Apple. All right, so we're going to go ahead and resize this. And I don't want it to be too big because when you're designing, you have to consider the shirts that it's going to be on. Now, if you're designing for yourself and you're like, oh, I'm only making, because there's designs that I make for myself, and those are going to be big. Those are going to be nice because I like big designs. But if it's something that you potentially want to make for somebody else or you want to sell, then you do have to be, you know, careful when you're sizing, because if you have an 11-inch wide design, somebody with a small shirt is not going to be able to have that onto their shirt. Okay, so hey Vera, thank you Vera. Yes, please remember to give this video a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed, please make sure you're subscribed. And if you're not subscribed to Making with Marilyn, go subscribe to Making with Marilyn, because she needs to get to 30,000 subscribers. Okay, so here is Prince, and this is what we're about to do. Now, this is going to be a little tricky because remember I told you that I want it to be two parts, like two different rhinestone colors, right? So in that first one that we made, we can turn this into rhinestones, but it's going to be one color. So it's going to be like the shadow or the black layer of colors, right? I want to turn this into two colors because Prince needs to be in purple and black. All right, so I could make him a little bit bigger because right now he's about, he's really not that big. We can make him a little bit larger. Okay, so now he's about 9 inches wide. If you guys look here at the measurements, he's 9 inches wide by 10 inches high, 10.1 inches high. Okay, very good size. So now we're going to work with the image trace panel again. Okay, I am going to select image trace, and I am then going, I'm still working in the select trace area or select by trace area. I'm not working with the color picker. So you can also trace by color if you want. We're just strictly for tonight, we're only working by area. Okay, we're not worried about colors. If you take the class, if you take the advanced class, not the beginner's class, we don't go over this in beginner's class. You know, sometimes I do go off on a tangent. But in the advanced class, we go over picking by color and that sort of thing when you have a PNG. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and select this trace area. Oh, I didn't even click select trace area. So I click select trace area, and now I'm just going to go ahead and select Mr. Prince. Hey, Miss Sharon Downport. Hey, Miss Sonia Siegler. All right, so it's thinking right now what it's going to do. So it should be getting ready to highlight in a second. Hey, Mocha Crochet and Crafts. Y'all see our wheel is thinking. All right, so now we have parts of the image highlighted. So we have like the hair, we have the beard, all of that is highlighted. But for this particular step, I am going to select the entire face. And remember what I told you, the threshold will, you control how much of the picture you want to grab. Well, I want to grab his whole face. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move that threshold all the way to the right to 100. Okay, so as you see, it has all parts of his face. Every part of his face is covered with the highlighter yellow. Okay, so now I'm just going to select trace. Remember again, trace and detach removes, if you have something in a picture, it'll remove it. We're just going to go ahead and select trace. All right, so once it's traced, we're going to see that red outline around Prince's silhouette. Okay, gotta give us a little minute. Hey Vaughn, hey everybody coming in. If I missed you, hey Joyce, I'm sorry. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Wednesday. All right, so now if you guys see, there's a little bit of red, and that is our trace. So we're just going to go ahead and move that over. Okay, so this is the trace, simple outline of his face. If you want, this is something that you can even use. Let's open up our rhinestone panel for a second just to see how something like this would look. Okay, so if I go ahead and I open up the rhinestone panel, I'm going to go ahead and select an edge fill. Let's see what that would look like. So, I mean, depending on what you're working on, what you're doing, you can do something like this. Not my favorite, but it's something depending on your design. Okay, So I'm also going to change the spacing to 0.015. There's a mosquito. And right now that's on a 10, it's a 10 SS design. I'm gonna change that to 6 SS because y'all know. Y'all know. Dempsey, I love the trace panel. All right, so y'all know this isn't set in stones, so I can go ahead and turn that back normal, okay? All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to, let me just turn that part, we're going to turn that part white. So the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to trace, so remember the negative part that we have here, right? I am now going to do the same thing, but I don't have to worry about the background. That's why I wanted to remove the background, because I don't have to worry about the background right now. But I'm not resizing anything. So at this point, this is the size. Okay, I'm not going to say, you know what, I want to make this a little bit bigger now. No. So if I change the size of the portrait, I need to start back over. I need to, like, I could make this bigger. I can make this bigger. But if I want to do the silhouette, I just need to go ahead and just do that part over again if I want it bigger. Okay, at least at this point. But you can make it bigger later. So now we're going to open up the trace panel again. I have the trace panel opened, and we're going to click select trace area. I am going to hover over, and now the first time I got the entire face, like I covered the entire face. This time I only want to select the areas that are darkest. That's all I want to select, the darkest areas. Hey, Jamila. Hey, girl. Welcome in. All right, so we have a good amount selected, right? So right now I could either, depending on what I want to do, I could either bring that threshold down, or I could go ahead and increase the threshold a little bit, which I kind of wanted to increase the threshold just a little. And I think that looks good. Okay, I think that's going to be fine. I think. So let's go ahead and select trace. So now I'm going to select trace. And remember, right now, we're only getting the darker portions. Now, I didn't want the threshold to be so much because I want to show you guys some, something else too while we're here. Let's see. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So as y'all see those red outlines right there? We have our second trace. Okay. So now I don't really need the original photo anymore just yet, but I do want to show you guys how I go back to the original photo to make sure, like, if I need to move any rhinestones around, that I line them up correctly. Okay. Because I want it to look like Prince. I don't want it to look like anything or anybody else. So we're going to go over. And so here are the two traces that we did off of that one photo. Okay. So now I'm just going to simply turn this or fill this in with black. And then I'm going to remove the red outline from around it. All right. So now we have our two parts. Okay. So remember I told you I could go ahead and turn this part into rhinestones right now. You guys will see that eventually. We're almost done. If you guys didn't know, we're almost done. All right. So I want to go ahead and now I'm just going to line these two up. This is why this is important for us to keep the design the same size and not to change it. Because if we're going to do something like this, both parts depend on the other part. Okay, so now I am just going to, let me maximize that just a little bit. And I just want to make sure that this is lined up as best as possible. Now, it's not actually, you guys will see what I'm going to have to do in order to make sure that it's perfectly lined up. But for now, that looks good. And that looks like Prince to me. It still looks like Prince. If you're doing this and it doesn't look like Prince or whoever you're going to be doing, you got to start over. You got to start over. You want it to look like the person. Okay? So I'm going to put that's better. Okay? So, but you guys see the white edges around here? So it's still like the white is a little bit larger than our black here, but that has nothing to do with us. Okay? Y'all see the white around the hair? That's fine. I'm going to show you guys what we're going to do with that. Okay? We can't turn this into rhinestones right now because we're going to have a lot of overlapping rhinestones. And we don't want a lot of overlapping rhinestones. Okay? So we need to start subtracting some stuff away because if not, everything behind the black is going to be turned into rhinestones too. So we're done with the trace panel for now. Now we need to open up the modify panel. And the modify panel is represented by a rectangle with a circle in the corner. So we're going to open up the modify panel. Now that the modify panel is open, I need to select both parts. So both the white part and the black part. Okay, I have both of those selected. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract all. If I hit subtract, I'll show you guys the difference. Subtract, you work with two items, but what subtract does is subtract is going to remove the image in front and whatever is behind it. So whatever it's overlapping, it's going to remove that as well. So if I hit subtract, and it can be a little bit confusing, but if I hit subtract, you'll see what's going to happen. It's going to just remove the whole little black part, and then it's going to remove the white part behind it, and that's what it does. That's not what we want. We don't want that. All right, so we have to hit subtract all. And at this time, even though we have divide here, subtract all kind of works as a divide. And so it's going to actually divide every part that's touching. Like it's gonna, like if it's overlapping, it's gonna put a hole in it. It's gonna put a hole in it, but it's gonna keep whatever is in the front layer. Subtract all works really good with multiple images. So if you have 5 different layers or multiple layers, 5 or 6 different layers, it's just gonna punch it out. So like, let's say like when you have a project, maybe an HTV project, and you can't layer it, or you shouldn't layer certain vinyls on top of each other, that's where subtract all comes in handy, because it's going to remove everything behind whatever is in front of it. Something like that. So let's see. Hey, Rochelle. Hey, everybody. Hey, Crafting Vibes. Welcome in, y'all. Jamila, what are you doing tonight? All right, y'all. So we're going to click here. Let me click subtract all. Again, I have both parts selected. I have the black selected and the white. We're going to select subtract all. And Josie, what's up? What do you think? Oh, all right. We have subtract all. And now I'm going to go ahead and move the black layer. And now we have the white layer. So I want you guys to look, because right here, I don't want to have to worry about all these extra little parts right here. Like you see the outline where the hair is. So guess y'all know what I'm about to do. I'm going to get my knife tool and I'm just going to slice it. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to slice the parts that I don't want. Okay. I'm keeping the neck with the chain around it and all that. You can't really tell. It's not really defined. So if it's something that you don't want, at this point, you can go ahead and cut that off if you don't want it. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and leave it for now. What we're going to do, I'm going to create some text. We're going to put Prince underneath it. If I had a symbol, I should have downloaded the symbol to put that on it, but we're not going to do that. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the outlines of the white part. So I'm going to open up my knife panel again. I'm just going to go ahead and slice. I'm not slicing where the face is, but I'm just slicing here. And I probably don't even have to do that because it's not touching. So let me see if I could just click onto that. Nope, it's all. If I click ungroup, let's click ungroup. All right. So I ungrouped it. And so now I am going to just select all of these parts like this. And I want to delete those because those are the lines that I don't want. I don't want those. But the whole entire part of that face, I grabbed it. I didn't see that I grabbed it, y'all, but I did. All right. So here I'm just going to remove. Uh-oh. I didn't even see me grabbing that one. All right. Let's go over on this side, and then I'm going to maximize the screen. All right. I think did I delete something else I didn't have any business doing? Oh, no, I did. Oh, it is a little piece, but it's fine. I'm just going to delete that because I don't need it. And so I also don't need these little parts where the chain is. I don't need that either. I could delete that too. And I just need to maximize it. And then we're going to get ready. And we're all done. But if you guys look closely, there are very, very small pieces that you really, I know you guys probably can't see it. I can see them only because I have it maximized on my screen, but that's it. That is all. I'm going to take that away. And so I'm just cleaning it up, cleaning this part because I still want to keep this part of it. I'm going to clean over here too. All right, so we're going to minimize this now. I am going to select all of this. Now, we don't have to have any stones here in his collar or shirt. I can remove this too. We don't really need that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and select his face, and then I am going to make that a compound path. So now it's all one. So when I get ready to turn it into rhinestones, I don't really have to worry about having overlapping stones. If I didn't do that, we would have overlapping stones. And nobody has time for that. I know I don't have time for it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm also going to make this part. I grouped it, but I want to make it into a compound path too. All of those, the fuzz of his beard, that would cause for overlapping rhinestones as well. All right. So now we have this here. And if y'all notice, we can fit that face right there. And Prince is looking very Prince-like. Now, before we turn this into rhinestones, there's a few things that I want to do. I want to go ahead. I want to type in Prince. And I'm just going to type it in any font actually. So let's type in Prince, and we can kind of have him, or kind of have the text here like this. And let's change the font. Let's change the font to, what font do y'all think I'm going to use? Tell me. Maybe we'll use Simple Grinches. Yeah, I like Simple Grinches. All right, so we'll do Simple Grinches. All right, so that's about 3 inches high and about 7 3/4 inches wide right at this time. But it may be a little bit, it's not even 3 inches high because it's measuring all that space there. Jamila, you need to start blinging. All right, so I'm going to right click and then I'm just going to ungroup this. So that way I can get an idea of the exact size. So now it's at the size that it needs to be. I'm going to go ahead and group that back together. And then actually, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and group that back together. But what I'm going to do next is I'm going to bring this up a little bit because the chain really isn't like all that chain-like. At least like it didn't get all of it. I will have to do too much work to make sure that the links, the openings are in the links, and we don't want to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and put an offset around the word Prince, around his name. I'm going to open up the offset panel on the side, which is 2 stars. Jamila, you can do it. So let's go ahead and select offset. And then the offset distance is right now a 0.125. I'm going to make the offset distance about a 0.15 for this. If you've taken my classes before, y'all know how much I love the 0.125 offset distance for layering, but I kind of want a little extra space in between his neck and his name. Okay, so we have our internal or our offset, and we set it at a 0.15. Now I'm just going to change that color of the offset to pink, because everything looks better in pink. Well, everything looks better in black, but all right. So now I have the pink offset selected. I didn't select out of it. It's still selected. So now I'm just going to hold down my shift key. I'm going to click onto the black part of the design, not the white part, the black part of the design. And then I'm going to open up my modify panel again. So I have those two selected. I have the pink offset. I don't have the black word print selected. I only have the offset selected and his hair. Okay. So then I'm going to select subtract. Now this is where I'm going to select subtract, because remember before when we selected subtract, it removed the black part and what was behind it. I want to do that. That's exactly what I want to do now, because I don't really want that pink. Y'all know Prince's color is purple. So I'm going to select subtract. And once I do that, it's going to punch out parts of, like, it's created that offset. Y'all see how that looks? Okay. So now, once I did that, though, for some reason, it always breaks everything back up when you do that when in a Silhouette Studio. I don't really worry about that when I'm in Adobe, but in Silhouette Studio, it kind of breaks everything up. Now you guys see all of the different bounding boxes around the smaller parts of black. You don't really see you can see like around the ear. Now I need to group all that back together, make that into a compound path. Okay. Don't click out of it, because if you click out of it, you're going to have to work on it a little bit more. Okay. So I'm just going to right click and click make compound path. All right, we're almost ready to turn this into rhinestones. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I'm going to select the word prints. And if you know me, you know that I love a good outline, right? The only problem I have right now is that this is kind of small for me to create an outline or like an internal offset, but we could try it out. Let's see. So I'm going to click onto the offset panel. We're going to select internal offset. Internal offset. It's the opposite of offset. Internal offset is the opposite. So with an offset, you usually get a border around. Y'all saw how when we did print and I selected offset, it created that layer around that I turned pink. Well, with an internal offset, or in some programs, they call it an inset. So some offset inset. But with an internal offset, it's going to create the shadow layer in reverse. So it's going to be inside of the actual letters or the words, not around it. Or if you have a star, an object, it's going to be inside of it. So right now you can't see it because it just has that red outline. I'm going to right click, and then I'm going to group that together. And then now I'm going to change the color. So we're going to change that color to purple, because y'all know that's what Prince likes, purple. All right. So now this is what we have so far. There's one more thing we have to do with our offset panel. Okay. So we're going to select the offset panel. Well, we have it open. We're going to select the white portion of the face. So this is that side where right here where we have the white portion. So I'm going to select that part, and then we're going to create another internal offset. The reason why I'm creating an internal offset is because if I don't, I'm going to have a layer of rhinestones that will overlap the entire part right here where that black meets the white. Any place where that black meets the white, where it touches it, I am going to have that issue. And I don't really want to have to move all of those stones. I don't mind putting stones there, but I don't want to have to move the stones. Okay, so now I'm going to create an offset or inset, an internal offset. So here we're going to click on internal offset. As y'all see, it created that red outline on the inside of his face. I'm going to right click. I'm going to group that together because there's several different parts. And then I'm just going to go ahead and change that color to like a tan color. Kind of like that. Maybe a little lighter tan. Prince wasn't that. Oh, Prince wasn't gray either. Let me get him a little. Still not good, but okay. So I'm going to then take away that outline because I don't need it. Okay. So another thing you can do. So while we were in Long Beach, there was a guy. You guys will see it in my recap video. There was a guy. He had on a Kobe shirt, and Kobe had different shades of purple in his face, kind of like how I do the when I do like the mosaic, the broken glass look. That's kind of how his face was, but different shades of purple, and you could totally tell who it was. You could do something like that too with, with Prince. But what I would do is I would do that here, but that's not a part of this this live tonight, though. I do show that in the class, though. I do show how to do a mosaic look in the class. All right, so here we have our face. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to remove the white part of his face. We want to move that out of the way because that's just going to cause me some problems. But we're going to turn that into stones too, so you guys can see how that will look. So now we have here, you'll see how we have like that space in between the hairline and his face. That's why I created the offset, because once we turn this into rhinestones, it is going to pretty much like just layer on top of it, and we don't want it. We want it to meet each other, okay? So let's go ahead and let's minimize this. We're almost done. All right, so the first thing I'm going to work on, I'm going to select his name because we're going to turn the name into rhinestones. So let's get ready and open up the rhinestone panel. And let's see what size this is now. So I can go ahead and bring Prince back over to the canvas. We can bring him back over here to the canvas. And right now there's only 3 colors right there. Okay. So we have him back over here, and then we have his silhouette. I'm not getting rid of that because depending on what you're doing, you can use that part of his face for a whole nother design. It's so many different things you could do with it. All right. So let me go ahead. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger, and we'll bring him over so we can see both the picture and the image that we just broke up. All right, so let's turn the name first, the words. And so for the purple part, we're going to do a fill. So I like radial fills. Some people like linear fills. I like the radial fills because I like how it forms to the shape of the shape or the word, the letter. It really kind of helps it keeps its shape. So, hey, Miss Joy. Y'all, I met Miss Joy too. And Miss Joy's a hot mess, y'all. I met Miss Joy too. All right, so right now this is SS6, but I'm going to duplicate it, and then we're going to turn it into SS10 when we get ready. But y'all know I deal with SS6. With certain designs like this, some sizes just work better. SS6 works really good with portraits and things as such. All right, so we have the purple done, the internal part of the word. And then now I'm going to create my outline around the word Prince. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and select the edge fill. All right. So now we have our words. And if you guys look closely, you'll see that like this P, where the P and the R is kind of meeting, it kind of touches here. Those are all areas where you would need to go back, and once you release your rhinestones, you want to manipulate them. You want to push it closer. You want to just kind of nudge it so that it's not touching, because if you go ahead and cut this, it's going to put a hole in your flock. Okay. Hey, Danny. All right. So the inset outline, you then delete. I deleted the offset outline. I deleted the original part. You're talking about when I did the facial part, Barb? I kept the inset. But the original white area I didn't keep. That's the part that's over here on the side. This is the part that's over on the side. That was the original part that I did. Delon, ask everybody if they're okay. I never asked. I'm a hot mess. All right, so we have the name done. And so now it's time for us to just turn all this into rhinestone. So I'm just going to select all of this at one time. And what I'm selecting is the hair, like the black part, and also the face. And we're just going to turn that into rhinestones. I'm going to select radial fill. Now, what we can do is I can show you guys the difference between doing a radial fill or a linear fill, see what you like, what you don't like. When it's time for you to do your own design, you want to test out and see what you like and what looks best. Honestly, I think the silhouette may look better in linear fill than radial fill, but it's all up to you and what you like. So let's go ahead. We're going to select radial fill though, because that's what I like to do. Put y'all space the letters before turning it. Yep, I could have spaced the letters before turning them into rhinestones. Spaced the letters better before even removing it from the background of the face. I could have did all of that before, before moving forward. I just didn't think about spacing them out. I didn't even look at it. I did know that it was kind of, the words are a little bit jammed, but I didn't. But you can. You should. Hotmess.com. All right, so that's what we have. This is the radial fill. Now, honestly, it looks pretty decent to me. It looks kind of Prince-like, but I would kind of go in and kind of like move some stones around and do some other things. Like I want his ear to be well defined. Like I want to see the ear. I want to see, I want to see that. So if I maximize it, and you probably could do, if you have the Rhinestone Worlds software, maybe it's a lot easier. I haven't tried to do this yet in the Rhinestone World software, but I am, I'm just getting more familiar with the Rhinestone World software so that I could kind of like, know about it. Right? Everybody tells me how much easier it is than Silhouette Studio, but I honestly find Silhouette Studio very, very easy. It's accessible because it's only $50. Even if it was $100, it's totally worth it. Okay, even if it was $200, I would still think it's totally worth it because Adobe Illustrator I pay, or the Adobe Creative Suite, I pay a monthly subscription plan for that. And a lot of the other softwares have monthly subscription plans every time it's an upgrade. Anytime Silhouette Studio upgrades, it's a flat fee, y'all. It's $50 right now. $49.99 on sale, and that's it for its entire lifetime. And you can't put it on multiple computers. Okay? So this is what we have. I'm going to show you guys a few other things. But this is pretty much our design. Now, I never leave a design like this. Okay, I never not move a stone around. Like I never, ever don't do that. So I'm going to show you guys what I would typically do if I were in Silhouette Studio. I was going to take you guys to Adobe Illustrator, but it doesn't make any sense to do that. All right, so here we have Prince's face. So if we were to turn this into rhinestones, remember how I said you could use this for something else, right? Another design, if you have. So if I select this design and I go ahead and I select the linear fill, that's what the linear fill looks like, okay? Now let's say if I want to do this as a radial fill. If I do it as a radial fill, let's see what that will look like. So I think in this particular case, the linear fill looked better. Let me know what you guys think. I think the linear fill looked better. Easier in Adobe. No, so in Adobe, you can't even do this. Like in Adobe, you're going to be placing rhinestones. You're going to have to create a circle, a SS10 circle, and you're going to have to go and like draw it unless you have like an expensive plugin for it. Like it's easier for me to do it here like this. And then honestly, y'all, what I would do is I would select print. I would save the selection, and then open it up inside, save it as an SVG, and then open it up inside of Adobe Illustrator, and then I would move the stones around. So if y'all want to see me do that, let me know. The linear fill, right, Barb? NJ, Niall, it looked, the linear did, Karen, it did, Kevin, yep. It did. The linear fill looked better. So that's why you got to see, like, there's times when certain fills look better than other fills. And so you'll know that because you play around with it. Don't just settle for one thing. Like, see what everything looks like. So the linear fill looked better. If I make this a little bit bigger, because right now that's like about 6 1/4 by 5 3/4. But I could make it a little bit bigger. But the linear fill definitely looked better to me. All right, and then I'm going to show you guys what I usually do when it's time for me to like move stones around. Linear fill. Hold on, Lisa was accurate. Don't fit for Corel and Loser. Big difference. Yeah, definitely. Definitely, Lisa. So y'all want to see, okay, so I'll do Adobe. We'll go into Adobe Illustrator, and then y'all will see how I like when in the class. So if you want to see the rest of this in the class, I'll show like how I do it all inside of Silhouette Studio. But when I'm not teaching Silhouette Studio, I actually don't manipulate any of the stones inside of Silhouette Studio. Okay, so this is kind of, printing, but I do like the linear fill better. The next thing I would do, because this is pretty much done as far as turning it into stones, but let's see what it's going to look like if it were inside of SS10. Now, I'm going to make this a little bit smaller, only because when I added the name, it added too much. It's like 11.5 inches high. It's only 9.5 inches wide, but I don't really like for it to be that high. But it's because I added the name to it. Thanks, Josie. All right, so we're going to go. So what I would do next is, wait, let me resize little prints. Oh, I don't want to resize them yet. So we're going to change this into SS10. Let's see what he's going to look like in SS10. Do I still have it on linear fill? I don't want it to go on linear fill. I want it to stay the same. So this is going to be SS10. And I think the spacing is still the same. So this is SS10. I feel like SS10 we'll have to do a little more moving around of the stones in SS10, but it can totally be done. So that's the SS6 looks good. That's it. If you make this bigger, it's going to look great. But it doesn't look good with this one. It doesn't look bad. You can tell. You can still see little prints there. But his curls aren't that defined. I need those curls to be looking curly. That's what I need. I want this in the advanced class. Yes. Oh, Sharon Davenport. Don't be asking no questions, Miss Sharon Davenport. So here I just made them a little bit bigger. And as y'all see, like it can work. The only thing is that with this particular design, if I were doing it in SS10, I would move the name maybe on the side instead of having the name underneath because it just makes it longer. So right now with it being 10, it's 10.184 inches wide. That's not a big design. It's not really a big design, but it's so tall. It's over 12 inches tall because of the name. We added that name here. So that's the one thing that I would probably say, you know what? I'm not going to have the name there or do something a little bit different. Maybe make the name a little bit smaller so that it's not taking up like 3 inches of space. Okay. And then with the SS10, you could have prints, as large as you want him to be. All right. So I'm going to move our SS10 prints down here. And then I am going to make a copy of that. And then I'm also going to show you guys something else. Well, we're going to go into Adobe Illustrator and then I'll show you guys what I usually do. Now, if you're in Silhouette Studio, I don't really want to do it in Adobe, but if you're in Silhouette Studio, what you would do at this point, I go over in the class, but what you would do at this, I go over in the class, but let me just let you guys know I have tons of free videos showing how to convert files into rhinestones. You don't have to take my class. You can literally go on to my channel, go into videos, and I do show, even in the lives, I show how to convert text images into rhinestones. This is the first time that I've ever done this on YouTube. I usually just do this in the class, but so many people ask me about the MLK design. So I'm like, you know what, I might as well just do it. So you would, at this point, you would have to release your rhinestones. And so this is the release rhinestone button. I should just show y'all that. Don't worry, we're gonna come back in here because I should show you guys that. No, Adobe. Why are you like this? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead. Before you release your rhinestones, you can turn everything back to normal. So right now I'm going to turn this back to what it was before. Okay. And so then I am just going to go ahead and right click and I'm going to group this together. I'm going to keep it like this because I'm actually going to layer the rhinestones on top so that I can see, like, if there's any part that I can perfect, I want to do that. So this works good. Let's say you have your SS10 design and you're like, you know what? It looks like Prince, but I kind of want to get his beard more lined up, or I kind of want to, do something else. You can do that with the SS10, the same thing that I'm going to do right now. And that's where this becomes beneficial. Okay. So I just duplicated this and then now I grouped it together. I'm going to go over to the fill panel and then I'm going to increase the transparency. I just want I just want it to be transparent enough so that I can still see it because I'm actually going to layer the design on top. All right. So right now Prince has a two color face, right? So, but if I select the black, we can have just the shadow layer, kind of like how MLK was. You can have the shadow layer. The only thing is that shadow layer looks really amazing on white. On the black, not so much. But if you don't want to use so many rhinestones and you feel like, you don't really need the two-tone face, you don't have to, because look, we have this and Prince looks really good right here. Now, I do want to tell you guys we're not going to do this tonight, but I do want to tell you what I would do moving forward with this design. Once I take it in Adobe Illustrator, I would actually duplicate parts of these curls right here and just tilt it and place it on the top. I don't like the flat top. I don't like the flat top with the curls. Like, he don't have to have a mohawk of curls. So I would add those curls. So all I would do is just like cut that and tilt it, and not really cut it, but copy it and tilt it and give them some curls. That's what I would do. All right. So, Delon said she don't want to see Adobe. You don't want to see Adobe. All right, I'm going to show you guys both. Because guess what? I missed y'all. I have missed y'all so much. All right, so let me go over here. I work on the screen a lot. Like, I work on the outside parts of the canvas a lot. All right, so we'll go here. So let me show you what you will do. Actually, before we do that, I'm going to actually save this here. Wait, hold on. Let me put him up here. So I'm going to save this so that I can open this up because I actually might finish working on this one. All right. So we're going to actually line this up. I'm going to bring the rhinestone prints to the front. We're going to bring to front. And then I'm going to just place him right on top. Okay. Delonda, you are so crazy. No. No. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and line him up right on top. And so I want you guys to know this is also the way that I would do if I'm going to create like a sublimation rhinestone design. So you guys see how that looked? If I remove the transparency, it's going to be a full color design. Also, heck, I could even put it on top of this one. Look. So we could even place prints. Now, only thing is because I cut part of his shoulders off, but we could literally put this, because remember I told you don't change the size of the design and all that stuff, because you will mess yourself up. But look how this fits perfectly over that original prints. So you can put this on something. This you can sub this one, and then you could place your rhinestones on top, and it fits perfectly. You just bring it down, and you see how those stones fit. So that's how I would do like a sublimation. Like I could do sublimation and the rhinestones. That's why keeping the sizes correct. You know what you know from the beginning what you're gonna size it as. So that way, if you want to do something like sublimation, you can. All right, so I brought that to the front, and now I'm just gonna line this up over here. And I'm going to maximize it. And I'm just going to use my keyboard to kind of slide it over if I need to. And it's not, y'all see, it's not really lined up perfectly. It looked like it was. That's why it's always good to maximize your screen, right? So here we have our prints. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do is, if you don't know, if you're like me and you like to work on your canvas and you like to do a lot of things on your canvas, you can go ahead and just save a part of your canvas. And so I moved it over here on the actual white part, because if you save it anywhere else on the screen, that's where it's going to save it at. So if somebody or if you try to open up your design, you'll be looking for it, like, where is it? And it's just over on the side. But you can't see it because when you open it in whatever software, it's going to pull up the canvas and it's not going to be on the canvas. So if you ever get something and somebody says, hey, I got this design, here it is, and you get it and you don't see it, just kind of move your canvas around to see if you can see it. All right, so I have everything selected. Let me select everything again. I'm going to select everything. And then I'm going to save selection. So save selection to hard drive. This is, if you guys notice, I did not release any rhinestones yet because I'm opening it up in Adobe Illustrator later. This is fine for that, but we're not going to worry about doing that yet. So I'm going to name this Prints, and we're going to say Prints Live. And then I'm going to switch that format. Now, if you don't have the business edition, you won't get these options, okay? You can save this as an SVG with the business edition, meaning once you save it, you'll be able to open it up in Cricut Design Space. You'll be able to open it up wherever you want to. If you only have the basic edition, you wouldn't even be able to get this far because they don't have the rhinestone panel for the basic edition. Okay, so now we're going to select SVG. And if you guys notice, I'm not even telling it what size it is. Like, I'm not even telling it anything. The only thing I'm going to say right now is that this is a SS6. So when I've taken an Adobe Illustrator, I'll know. But I'll still know in Adobe Illustrator when I click onto the rhinestones. It'll tell me the size, and I'll know what size it's going to be. All right, so I'm going to click OK. So I'm saving this part so that we can open it up in Adobe Illustrator. But I'm going to finish this out through Silhouette, so that you could see what we would do next. I'm just not moving stones around in Silhouette because it takes me a long time. Oh, Judy, I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you, Dunzel. Hey, Victoria's Creations. Hey, Shakita. Okay, we got to have some people in the bushes. It's nothing wrong with the bushes. Because let me tell you something. I met so many people at Impressions who be in the bushes, and they're super supportive. There are so many people that said, I'm always in your lives and I just never say anything and stuff like that. So shout out to the bushes. I appreciate y'all because you guys are watching, even though you don't say anything, and that's perfectly fine. But thank you. I had so many people. They were like, oh my God, I follow you on YouTube, and I was like, well, what's your name? I was like, what's your name? And they were just like, no, I have a channel, but I don't have a channel. I never say anything in your lives. And so that's perfectly fine too. All right, so I'm going to show you guys what I would do in Silhouette Studio, okay, what I show in the class. So I'm going to go ahead and select all of this, right? This is a lot of rhinestones because it's the SS. Don't know what I'm going to do. I'm not even going to do the SS6 here. I'm going to do we're going to release the SS10 because the SS6 is going to take a long time, but I am going to move this over here. And with the business edition, you can save this in your library. You don't have to save this on your hard drive. You can save it in the library, in the Silhouette Studio library. All right, so let's select prints right here. And I am just going to go ahead and change this prints to SS10. I'm also going to, once that's done changing to SS10, I'm going to delete that other SS10 that we made super large. All right, so this is the SS10. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to select, I'm going to bring prints over. Well, not yet. So this is what we're going to do. Let me delete. I want to delete this one because I don't need that one. And if you guys notice, like I like to make copies of things because anything can happen and it beats having to go back and find where you needed to change something. Okay, so we have our prints. I'm going to select prints right here, and then I'm just going to open up the the rhinestone panel is already open. So in Silhouette Studio, you have to release your rhinestones. If you don't release your rhinestones and you skip that step, your rhinestones could become jumbled up. They could shift, and that's not something that you want. So I'm going to go ahead and I am actually going to release all of these rhinestones. You can release by color. I'm not going to release by color. That's also why I put the image on the white canvas because I'll be able to gather all those stones up a lot better. Okay, so I'm going to select prints and we're going to click release rhinestones. Right now, this is about 3,300 SS10 rhinestones. I think when it was SS6, it probably was like 4,200. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and click release rhinestones. And that's going to take a little minute for the rhinestones to be released because there are so many. So let's see what is happening in the chat. I know Princess 3,300 rhinestones. What's computer girl 123? Even though you're using a silhouette to cut it. So if you're using your silhouette, if you're using your cameo to cut it, you probably don't have to release the rhinestones. I don't know. I've never cut a rhinestone template with my cameo, and I have a cameo. Maybe I'll unbox that in a week or two. Marilyn's here. Marilyn knows. Marilyn, do you have to? Let us know, Mare Bear. Hey, Alma. Hey, Alma at Impressions too. Hey, Alma. Hey, Elevate Artistry. Hey, everybody. If I missed you, I'm sorry. Right now, we're just waiting for these rhinestones to be released. That is it. We're just waiting for these rhinestones to be released. And then I'm going to use prints. I'm going to show you the same. When we get to Adobe Illustrator, you're going to see the same process. But I'm going to show you guys what I would generally do inside of Silhouette Studio. We're not about to move 3,300 rhinestones. We're not even about to move 20 rhinestones. But I'm going to show you guys what I would generally do. Now, your computer may be faster than mine. My computer is overloaded with a lot of softwares. So that's the one. This is the main reason why I would just open it up in Adobe Illustrator and speed right on through. And I will show you guys. Marilyn, still do it to make an SVG. Okay, so Marilyn said that and Miss Joy, she said that she would still release the rhinestones to make it an SVG for more flexibility. Okay, so that's what Marilyn says, and she knows a lot. She knows more than me. Denzel, what unboxing video? Which one? Oh, for the cameo. Denzel, I don't forgot that quick. For the Denzel, I've been talking about unboxing this cameo for like 2 years now. It's pretty sad. I probably need an updated cameo. It's really sad. It's taking a long time for these 3,300 rhinestones to release. I don't think so, Marilyn. Miss Joy, have you watched the replay of the last one? Have you watched the replay of y'all? Miss Joy, when I tell you Miss Joy is a hot mess, y'all, she is a hot mess. I didn't know somebody could be more of a hot mess than me, but she is. She is. Y'all, this is taking so. This is why I prefer to go in Adobe Illustrator. Okay, look. So let me. Y'all be like, why is she doing this? Let me go to Documents. I'm gonna click onto that prints file we just did, and I'm gonna open it up. Y'all see my little Adobe Illustrator just jump in. Oh, it's doing the same thing. It's that circle, that wheel of circle. All right, so we're in the this is Adobe Illustrator. Let's see if it goes back in. It's still thinking. So Silhouette is still thinking, y'all. So while we're going to do a little jump around. So this is why I do it the way I do it. So when I'm preparing for an actual class, I kind of have to make sure I transfer any files that I need to transfer to my external hard drive. I do all that stuff so that it can kind of move a lot smoothly. But it still be thinking a lot. Okay. Okay. So maybe it's ready now. Let's see. Okay, looks like it's ready. Or maybe, okay, it's ready. So we'll go back to Adobe in a minute. Because remember with Adobe, I didn't release the rhinestones. I saved it as is, as an SVG file. And y'all saw that it opens up perfectly in Adobe Illustrator. I don't have to worry about releasing rhinestones or doing all that stuff if I'm opening it up in Adobe Illustrator. I don't have to worry about that. All right, so now we have all the rhinestones released. And as y'all saw, I released all of them at once. I know that can be a little bit scary to release all of these rhinestones because you may think like, oh my goodness, how are you going to separate that? How are you going to be able to group all the light colors together? I'm going to show you that too. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and bring our photo right back behind. And again, if you're doing sublimation, you can, this is great for that. Okay. So all I would do now is I would probably go through here and you guys see where we have like some space in between. Remember I told you guys how like with layering, how now y'all see how this would layer in perfectly with each other where we have the hairline. It would layer in perfectly. Okay. It's okay for the stones on the screen if they're different colors to touch. Not overlap, but they can touch a little bit. They just can't be the same colors touching because when you get ready to cut it, it's going to put a hole inside of your flock. All right. So now what I would do is I would fill in his eyebrow. I would probably just go through and fill in his eyebrow, fill in those lashes. So because all of these are released, I can just go ahead and move the stones around. And this is so the way that it is, you can use it. You don't have to do you don't have to move them around. I think I like for it to be very, the placement of the stones to be good. I like for it to look good. But if you like it how it looks, then it's perfectly fine if you like it like that. Okay. And so I'm just going to go, I'm duplicating rhinestones and just filling in his eyelashes and removing some of that extra space. I forgot what space I used. I think I used 0.15 spacing. And I might have 0.15 is fine for SS10. All right, so, but I would just maximize this. If you notice, like it's going a little bit slower for me. To duplicate, I'm holding down the Option key, and the same way I duplicate everything else, hold down the Option key, hover over it, and left click, and then just drag it and duplicate. Oh my goodness, really? Delonda. Just a mess. And see what I love, like it got his little mole over here. So that's in a good place. And so remember how I said like with his ears, I would want to maybe define like the ears a little bit more. So all I would do, like in this part right here, I would click onto all of the ear part that is in that white line area, and I would remove those and just turn those into turn those brown for the ear. That's what I mean. That's how I would do it. I don't know. Like you will have your own, like, you know, you'll want things to look how you want it to look. But I would want to have like that ear more defined so we could actually see the ear on the side, because it is a side profile. So the actual picture has, you know, he has his ear in the actual picture. And so that's how you would be able to, especially if you're doing sublimation and you want it to kind of line up good, then that's why I moved the photo back over like that. All right. So I'm not going to go through and move all of these, but I'm just showing you guys like how you would be able to, you know, make sure that it looks exactly how you want it to look. And then maybe put another stone here just to fill in. And you guys see here where the beard line is. I would just clean this up. Like I like crisp lines, so I would just kind of like clean that up and, you know, make sure that the stones are aligned as they should be. Now, if you don't want so many rhinestones, then you will increase the spacing in between your stones. So it doesn't have to be 0.015. It could be 0.020, 0.025, 0.039, which is the default. It can be whatever you want it to be. It doesn't have to be 0.015 because Patrice uses 0.015. Okay? You may not want so many rhinestones, but you can do it with, you know, with a larger space in between your stones. All right, and then you would just go down. I'm pretending, y'all pretend with me that these are all done. Okay, pretend with me that these are all, we did what we needed to do. We moved all the rhinestones into place. Everything looks good. Okay, let's see. Now, the next thing I would do for words, and this is something I kind of talk about in the beginners class. I don't, you see how Prince is right here? It's not really popping out for me. And remember when we did the offset, I did that extra bit of offset around it, and it still didn't give me what I wanted. So what I'm going to do now is I will just remove anything that's touching the word, because that will really help it to pop out a lot more. Okay? And then once I'm done with this part, I'm going to show you how I would save it. And then we're going to go into Adobe Illustrator really quickly. And then I'm going to go relax. Well, I'm not going to go relax, but I'm going to pretend I'm relaxing and listening to true crime. So here we have this. And then you would just go, y'all see how this P is? Like I would just go through here and make sure I can fit rhinestones here. I would make sure I could fit rhinestones, like fill those gaps in. I don't like that. So I would go through and fill those gaps in. Okay. All right. So that's pretty much it. We're going to pretend that we Filled in all the circles for Prince, and he's looking fabulous as usual. And now it's time for us to put all of the stones together. Okay, so as y'all saw, I was moving some of the tan stones, the black stones. I didn't move the purple stones, but those are released too. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to remove that image that's behind, and I'm going to move that on the side. All right, so here's our prints. And so now we need to put all of these stones back together. So I'm going to head up to the top and we're going to select panels, okay? Once we select panels, I am going to select the panel that says select by color. Now there's also one of the icons up here where you can select by color too. Is it this one? No. All right. Oh, so this is the select by color icon at the top. I usually use the drop down from the menu, but there is an icon up here where you can click the icon and it will open into the select by color panel. Okay. But as y'all saw, I went up here and selected select by color. Okay. Those are the two places where you could do that at. All right, so now with select by color, we're simply going to select everything that is the same color, okay? So right now, when it first opens up, you're on select by color by line color, okay? We want the fill color because I always remove the line color. So if you have like that red outline around your circles or your image, it'll pick that up. We don't want that. So we're gonna go to by fill, and we should only have, well, we may have more colors if I have something on the other screen. Oh, thank you, Delonda Patrice. So it shows all the colors that we have, right? Now it's pulling in the colors. Y'all know how I have, it's a hot mess on the side of the white canvas. It's pulling in all the colors from there, right? But if you notice under options, I have only shapes on media. So this is the media. The white part, that is the media. So even though there's colors everywhere, I only want the colors that's on there to be selected. Okay. If you have that unchecked, it will select colors that are on the outside that you don't want. Okay. It will, or parts of images that you don't want that's the same color as something on your canvas. Okay, so you want to keep that highlighted, and also includes groups. So if something's grouped here, it'll include it if it's that color. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to select the black, and it's going to select all of those black dots. Because do y'all know how much time it would take for us to have to go and select each dot to grab it, especially the ones that are like close, like that's almost impossible to do. I wouldn't do that. All right, so now we're going to right click, and then I'm going to group that together. Now what we're doing now, you need to do this for every single color layer. When you're in Silhouette Studio, you need to do this for every single color layer. So I'm going to group it together. Once you have it grouped together, then you're going to make it into a compound path. Okay, so it's grouped. Grouping, this is grouping a lot of stones. Now we didn't talk about you noting the amount of stones you're going to use, right? Or need. So we'll talk about that now because we kind of skipped over it a little bit. So it's still thinking for me. That's a lot. It is a lot, but thanks for hanging out with me tonight, y'all. Thank you. So tomorrow night, Marilyn's going to be on live. She's going to be doing, I think she's going to bling with It's Throwback Thursday. And then Friday, we're going to be embroidering. So excited about that. We're going to be doing applique. So Marilyn, did you want to share the file that you're going to be doing? Because I think I'm just going to use the applique design that I have. Do you want to share? Because Marilyn has a file that she got from off of Creative Fabrica. So in case anybody wants to do it with us, you can. You can. Oh my goodness. Y'all see why I just go straight to Adobe Illustrator? Because of this. Absolutely because of this. How do we know what to do with the spacing, if anything? How do we know what to do with the spacing, if anything? So with the spacing, I always do. So if I have a SS6 design, the SS6 design, my spacing is going to be 0.013. That's my spacing for my SS6. Now, if it's the file that I'm going to be selling, then I'll probably do the spacing at 0.015 for both the SS6 and the SS10. The only way for you to know your spacing is if you test it out. I should have worn your jacket. I should have worn to Apprentice. I should have worn your jacket. Thank you. Yo, this is a hot mess. Oh no, you know me. You know I can never have enough tea. But do not put on your jacket. Girl, you are a hot mess. Just why are you like this? Y'all did I told you, do y'all understand why I go to Adobe Illustrator? Okay, now it's all grouped together. I'm not going to talk about. Okay, so as you guys see, this was 2,537 rhinestones. So all of the black, that's 2,537 rhinestones. If you forget to jot down the amount of stones that a certain part of your image needs, this is where you can get it. Okay, so once you group it together, before we go into the next step, say, okay, let me see how many stones, how many, objects there were. There were 2,537. So you're going to jot that down. Okay, once you group it together, you are then going to make it into a compound path. You're going to click make compound path. Now, making something into a compound path is pretty much grouping it, but y'all getting married at that point. Like y'all not grouping, you kind of dating. Making compound path, you married. Okay, y'all. One, that's that, right? So you may think that you can skip the grouping part when you're in Silhouette Studio, but you can't, because if you do, those rhinestones are going to jump all over the place. So you have to group it, and then you have to make it into a compound path. Don't convert to path. You're going to group it and make it into a compound path, okay? So now we have all the black selected. Let's go ahead and select that tan. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to right click. We're going to group it. And then we're going to make it into a compound path. Did Marilyn share her design? I need to get that one. I didn't even see it, Marilyn. No, Marilyn ain't even show me. She a hot mess. Marilyn, can you email it to me so I can see it? Because if I click, I'm not on the computer. If I click it on the phone, it's going to take me away. All right, so it's all grouped together. That part of the design needs 465 rhinestones. You guys see where I'm looking at that number at? It's right there. And the reason why I like to get the number at this point is because, remember, I'm moving stones around. I'm deleting rhinestones. I'm adding rhinestones certain places. So I like to get the number at that point. Okay. You can have an idea beforehand what each part is going to need. But so that you are precise, I like to get it at that point, because now it's grouping all that together. All the stones that I added, the stones that I deleted aren't there. So it's giving me a more accurate number. Okay. And so now that I grouped it together, we're going to make it into a compound path. Make it into compound path. Not. Uh-oh. Thanks, guys. Thanks, y'all. We're going to make it into compound path. Oh, why did it turn all black? Let's change that color. It's still fine. So I'm just going to change that there. All right. So we changed the color. Okay. So now we're going to select the purple. And then we are going to do the same thing. We're going to group that. Every single different color is considered a layer. Every layer you have to do this step, these 2 steps for each layer and color. Okay, so we grouped that together. That was 298 rhinestones, and we're going to make that into a compound path. Now we know that this isn't as pretty as I would like it to be, but it's just to show you guys what to do. I can't move all these stones tonight. I can't. Y'all, they had me in a meeting all day today. I was in a meeting all day. So, yeah. So we're all done. And guess what? We can now save this as a rhinestone design. But I do want to show you what that would look like. So you're going to select. I'm selecting all this because I have a lot of stuff on the canvas. If you had a clear canvas, you don't have to select it like this. But I still select it so that I can see the size. So right now, this is 9.654 inches wide by 11.631 inches high. Okay. Now you may say, Patrice, how am I going to cut this with my Cricut? How am I going to be able to, get it cut if you use a Cricut? There are ways you could be able to do that. So if I didn't put prints together with the black part of the silhouette, like the outline, then that would be 3 different parts. So there are different ways that you could do it. It doesn't have to, just because you see that size there, it doesn't mean that the file cannot be broken up. Okay. So I'm just going to go up here. I'm going to save it. Let's say our canvas is clear, because I already showed you guys how to do a save selection. So let's say we're pretending right now. Okay. It's not true because we have a lot of stuff on that canvas and y'all saw it, but we're going to click save as. I'm going to click save as to hard drive right here. I will just type in prints live and then SS10. And then I'm going to note the size. So the width is 9.654 inches wide by 11.63 inches high. So that is something that I would type here. 9.654 inches high or wide by, and I would type that there. Okay. Again, I would change that format to SVG and then I would click save. Okay. But for right now, I'm not actually going to save this as an SVG just yet. What I'm going to do is I am going to save it, but I'm going to save it to my library. And so I'm going to save it to my library, and this is my silhouette library, y'all. So I have a lot of stuff in my silhouette library. And it doesn't have to take up space on my hard drive. That's another thing with having silhouette. You can save it in your library. You can always open it up. You can work on it. I have tons of things here, y'all, that I need to work on, and I haven't worked on it. And so sometimes I'll go back and I'll pull out a design that I started working on a year ago, and I'll try to finish it and get that done. But that's one of the beauties of the library. So I'm just going to type in prints here. I'm going to click OK. And the way that I showed you guys to save it as an SVG, you'll then be able to open it up inside of Cricut or Leonardo, any design software that you have. You'll be able to open it up there, and in Cricut, it'll open up fine. It'll be, this is going to be 3 different layers. All right. So let me go back. I think I have to sign in. It takes forever for me in Silhouette Studio. Oh, goodness, I got my password. No, Barb, Maryland, we're gonna do that on Friday. We're gonna do that one on Friday. So Maryland's design, y'all, the applique, we're gonna do that Friday. Because Maryland she needs to do more embroidery. I've been talking to her about it and just stressing out over it. She has the Husqvarna, and I don't know when the last time she used it. Probably was with me. When was the last time you used that Husqvarna, Mirror? I told y'all this is taking a long time, and I'm just yapping away because I gotta wait. It's just a hot mess. All right, so while that's saving there, let's go into Adobe. Oh, let's see if it comes back up. Oh no, I'm still thinking. So while that's saving in my library, we're going to go into Adobe Illustrator and I'll show you guys what I do inside of Adobe Illustrator. It's I love heavy bling. Um, I love heavy bling, but it does take, time. Once it's cut, it's fine, but designing is another thing. All right, so now we're in Adobe Illustrator. I'm going to show you guys how I kind of maneuver around in Adobe Illustrator. So here we have pretty much that same file, but I want to show you guys something. So the reason why I still like sometimes things look really good. It took me right back. All right, y'all. Silhouette Studio just be in people's business all the time. All right, so we have that saved. So I just want to show you guys before we get out of Silhouette. Y'all probably like, girl, you just jumped around. I know it jumped around for me. I promise you, I did not take myself back to Silhouette Studio. All right, so here we have the SS10 of Prince, and then we have the facial part. Now this face, because it was the internal offset, it only really looks good when it's paired up with his actual face. It doesn't look like you see how the one at the top that we had right here, that one looks good, right? It doesn't look like this one. So this has to be paired up with the actual face. All right, but for the most part, it doesn't look bad. Also, even though this is an SVG now, I can still change those stones around. I can release them again and fix the stones how I want it to be, or I could open it up in Adobe Illustrator like I'm about to show you guys. I'm going to close this out now since I saved it in my library. I don't need it. You'll see my prints file right there. I could go back into the library whenever I get ready to work on it. I could open it back up. Another thing that I like to do, so you guys see how I saved it as the SS10 and SS6. I can then still play around with this if I want to, because this particular set, I never released the rhinestones of this one. So I can switch it up. I can then turn it, let's say, we may say, hey, can we make this into SVG? We can. The only thing is that there's going to be a lot of cleanup on this file, simply because if we were to do it as an SVG, simply because his beard, I don't know if you guys have ever tried to cut something jagged, like with jagged edges with your cutters, but when I tell you, that's a disaster. So this, we would probably just go ahead and fill all of that in, make it solid. I would also go around and clear up that hairline right there. And you'd have to do something with the hair. So you just need smooth edges for if you're going to turn it into SVG. That does take a little bit of time, but it is something that can be done. Okay, so I'm going to close out of Silhouette Studio. We are all done with Silhouette Studio. Hope all hearts are clear on Silhouette Studio. If you guys want me to do more of these things, I know I do the classes, but I have tons of videos to show you guys. But if you want me to do more like videos, I know Delonda said, Delonda, tell me what you want me to do in Silhouette. You said it last night, but I don't know if I wasn't listening or what. Probably wasn't listening. I usually be listening, but I remember you said something about Silhouette. So let me know, because I know a lot of people have Silhouette Studio now, especially for designing rhinestones, but you can do so much stuff in Silhouette Studio. Okay, so I want to show you guys this because we didn't see this in Silhouette. If you have overlapping rhinestones and or if you have a stone that looks like this, that means that there are two rhinestones on top of each other. This is in Adobe Illustrator. In Silhouette Studio, it looks a little different. It'll look like you have like a double outline around your stone, but it means that it's overlapping. Oh no, Rhonda. All right, so here I'm gonna have to go into this design. So when it came in, it all came in, pretty fine. Look at Prince. Prince looks good, y'all. I may actually have to really work on this one. This is SS6 though. All right, so all I need to do right now is to double click into here. I'm onto his the actual image. Okay, so I double click onto there. If you look here in Adobe Illustrator, it tells you exactly where you are. I don't have to release all of the rhinestones, even though at times I do. But with Silhouette Studio, I have to release those rhinestones, or I can access it through the edit points, right? But here it'll tell me like the different layers. Like I layered it, then I grouped it, then I grouped it, and then we finally made it to where we need to be. Okay, so here we have this space here. So I will just go through and fill in the spaces. As you'll see, Adobe Illustrator is super quicker, if that's a word or a phrase. It's much faster. I am a teacher, y'all. Some days I am a teacher, some days I am not. So it's a lot faster. And I'm just moving, like, I would just go through it and move it, move these stones around, delete any stones. It's just so much quicker for me. And I can just go ahead and get that, and then duplicating stones is a lot faster. As y'all see, it's a lot smoother. Okay. For the price they charge, it should be. I should never have to be stressed out in Adobe Illustrator. All right. So that's kind of how I would do. Like I would just go through here, fill up more of that open space. Like here, where the beard is, the beard was already, it looked like hair. So you may not want a solid, sharp line or a sharp space here for the beard. You may still want it to look like it has some texture there. That's up to you. It's up to you and your design preferences and what you like. Okay. I would probably leave it just like that, just to kind of still like look a little bit, textured. And then here I would start adding more stones. I'm not going to do that now. And then the same thing would apply. So right here, what I would do here, and what I missed in the other one, not that I missed it, I did see it, but it didn't look bad with the SS10. So remember when we created the internal offset and we removed the face from behind and we just used the internal offset for his face? It took away some of the face, like the shape of the face, right? So all I would do is I would actually click into that area, and then I would just follow the curvature of the face. And here I'm just placing them kind of like honeycombish, because with this particular design, you guys see his other eyebrow over here. So his other eyebrow is almost like it's out there in space by itself. And so it is touching right now. I'm going to show y'all. So that's touching too much, which is okay right now. So this is what I would do. I would just bring it all the way down, because I know that when I did that internal offset, it took this away. And this wasn't really the part that I wanted to take away, but we had to do what we had to do to make it easier for us. And that makes it easier. All right, so then I'm gonna, remember y'all at the beginning, I was like, I want his nose to show right. I want his nose to be right. Noses are important too. All right, so see how that added, oh, that looks so good. All right, so now, and we're not even done with this, y'all. So now I'm gonna take this here, and we're just gonna move it so where it's not overlapping onto the brown, right? And I might even add an extra stone right here, and then move this one just like that. So depending on how artsy you want to be, depending on what you want to do, you don't have to be so detailed if you don't want to. I'm pretty detailed. Even though I'm not linear minded, I still want it to have some type of shape. I still want it to kind of flow a certain way. Like I don't have to have everything in a raise, but I still want it to look fluid, right? Oh, totally, Tanya. Thank you. y'all. I'm gonna be sweet and wasted. Thank you. All right. So but I don't know if you guys can see the difference that just that made. For me, it makes a big difference. Like now the face looks fuller. I get a more defined nose because I added those rhinestones in because of that spacing. So I really needed the internal offset for this area right here. So this is the area that I needed the internal offset for, but it still took away this part over here that I needed it because I needed it for here. I needed it for this lineup right here, and I needed it for right here, right? But I still could have used that to fill it in. So that's how. Dundell, you can't hear my bell. You can't. Can you not hear it? Yes. Barb, so I've gotten a little bit in Adobe Illustrator. I can kind of move quickly. You saw how, like, that was pretty fast. In Silhouette Studio, it would take me a little bit longer to really do that trace or that extra layer of the face. But in Adobe Illustrator, I can speed through it. Like, it doesn't take me long at all. And there are certain parts where, like, how you isolate the colors. So right now, I think I'm isolated to the tan. I might have clicked out of it. I don't know where I'm isolated to, but when you're isolated to the colors, so now that let's say I'm gonna click the tan part, right? So in Adobe Illustrator, I'm isolated to this area. So no matter what I select, if I select all of this, it's not going to pick up any of the black because it's isolated. And so I love that I'm able to kind of isolate the other colors, even though I may have them all released at the same, well, this isn't released. Even though I have it like this, I don't have to worry about going into the other colors. I can, manipulate the rhinestones and not worry. Sometimes, let's say there's colors here, I may want to take a certain part and just delete all of that. I can without having to worry about deleting any other color. So that's why I really, really like that. I know, isn't that more? Can you imagine? Like, it picked up. So I traced Prince, y'all, and it still picked up his mole, and that mole is so small, and it still picked it up. He deserves to have this mole in rhinestones. He deserves it. It still picked it up. Wasn't that cool? And I would just leave that one little dot there. I'm not even worried about doing I don't want to make it bigger. It's just like a nice little touch of the mole, very small. Inside of his ear doesn't have. So the reason why his ear doesn't have any stones in it, and so this is where, let's go back over to his ear, y'all. So the reason why the ear is the way that it is because when I created the internal offset so that everything could layer correctly, it removed some of the ear from the internal offset. So what I would generally do is, like, I would just go here, and because this is, I know in Silhouette Studio I didn't show you guys this part because, well, a little bit, but because it just moved so slow for me, I couldn't do it. All right, so now I'm just selecting all of this, and I'm just gonna go ahead and delete that, and then I'm gonna move this down here, and we're gonna make his ear. And so what I like to do is I like to kind of stay true to the actual shape. That's what you want to make sure that you do. So if you notice the gray part, I know the gray part represents the black part. So that's why I'm doing it the way that I'm doing it here. Like, I'm just, lining it up so that curvature is the same. That really helps to keep your shapes the way that you want it to be. And again, if you want to do any type of like sublimation with your rhinestones, then that's important, especially when you get ready to start layering. Okay, so you just move your stones around, and I will fit stones in. Just make sure that they're not touching. So right here, how this is going over on some of the other parts, I would just move this like this. And we would move this over here. And let me see see how that is. So now I just opened up parts of the ear. Okay. And then here, I'm just going to move this over just a little bit because on that inner part, I could still fit something there, but I need to move this. And with this, I can't like maximize. So with Adobe Illustrator, I literally can just use my fingers like this and it'll maximize the screen, or it will zoom in or zoom out just by me doing this on the mouse pad. With Silhouette Studio, it's just not that smooth. It's just not that smooth. But the Rhinestone panel in Silhouette Studio wins for me. It does. I gotta let y'all know what I think of the Rhinestone World software soon. I gotta let y'all know what I think. I'm not sure yet. It's pricey, but is it really worth it? That's the $1 million question. So I'm just moving these over. And this, like, you can get lost with this. So I usually listen to my true crime shows and make rhinestone templates. Or sometimes I'll listen to a ebook. It depends. Depends on what, what I got going on. And so now I can go ahead and start placing my stones here in the ear. And so see, there's more that needs to go right here. And then once that's done, I'm gonna move this over here. And I'm still staying true to the shape. Like, that's why I like having the image behind, because I'm able to trace it. Like, I'm able to, trace it with the rhinestones. So now, once I'm done with that part, there is a little piece down here of ear that I could get. You'll see this here. But this is where, like, it's up to you. Some people will be fine. Like, oh, no, I'm not doing all that. I kind of will do all of that. So, all right. So now we're done for the most part, because I'm just going to show you guys this part. And then I'm about to go and relax, because those people have me in training all day. All right, so here I'm going to just go ahead, and now I'm just going to fill in the white areas. Then I know that's where the ear is, because that's where the offset cut off part of the other. So I'm just going to go ahead. I'll probably move that over and a little, just a little bit. And then we're going to go ahead and fill in the rest of this with the ear. You just don't want it to touch. And I'm in Adobe Illustrator. And even though I created this inside of Silhouette Studio, Adobe Illustrator is like, I'm able to now come into Adobe Illustrator and just pick up wherever I would have been in Silhouette Studio. Now, if you have Adobe Illustrator right now, this is really good to go. I will release the compound path, and then select the colors, the stones by color again, and just making each individual part into compound path. But to be quite honest, when I do my cutting, like, I'll open it in Leonardo Design Studio just like this. Just like I won't do all that stuff that I do in Silhouette Studio. Leonardo Design Studio. What is it called? Leonardo Design Studio? I can't ever remember. Design Studios, Design Space. It's just too much. It's just too much. All right, so I want to bring this down here. All right. All right. Let's see. Okay, come on. All right, so I'm just gonna move that here. So then I'm gonna go out, and we're gonna look at his ear, and that's gonna be it, y'all. I'm tired. Let me know. Tell me, give me some ideas what you guys want to work on. So then we're starting to shape his ear. Now I would probably fill in some more of this space here. Like, you see this canal right there. The problem is, once I get started, I cannot stop. Like, I just want to keep going. Like, once I get, it's so weird. Like, I just want to keep doing it. It's relaxing. Doing this is relaxing to me. So you just make sure that they're not touching. But I can keep going and going and going and going. Does it make sense? All right. So I'm going to bring this down. We're going to bring this down a tad only because I want to place rhinestones inside. So now we're going to go back into the ear. Look at mine is open. No, I'm not going to finish. Yes, you will work all night. Danny, I haven't really planned on putting it on the site. I hadn't really planned on it. I was just because I had people ask me about the MLK template I did, and so maybe we'll see. I gotta see if I can. I'll see if I can. All right, so I'm just filling in the ear. And so I would also fill in this part of the ear too. And then that's it. Good night, Lynn. Wanda. But I'll have to do SS10 and SS6. SS6 and SS10. So I need to finish that. So here I would just go ahead. So that's, you see like when you zoom in, you can kind of move them a lot better when you zoom in. Y'all, when I tell y'all I zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, I zoom in. Zoom in. All right, so y'all see how the ear is now coming into shape? So sometimes you have to do certain things like that depending on the design and what you want, you know, the look that you're going for. Sometimes you have to. I don't mind doing that. It doesn't take that long. It really doesn't. But I think we're all done. All right, so Prince looks good. Prince looks very good, actually. Prince looks really, really, really good. What do I sound like? So that's it, y'all. Let me clear out of here. Does anybody have any questions? I'm not going to show you guys how I finalize in Adobe Illustrator because this isn't done. If I do it, it's just not finished yet. I could finalize it. Even if I finalize it, I could always go back and change it. But I usually just leave it as is. And I'll just go up here and save it. And then I'll go back in to work on it when it's saved onto my hard drive. But that's the design. The ear is coming out really good. There are some other things that I would do with the ear. Like the lobe right here. I might kind of delete this one. Bring that a little bit closer. Bring it a little bit tighter and add a little bit more of the tan ear part. But that's what I would do. And then I also don't like this circular part right here, like how it looks like circles. So I kind of like mess that up a little bit so it doesn't look like it has like targets in it. But it looks good. All right, I'm going to head back over. I'm going to stop screen sharing. Does anybody have any more questions? Thanks, Donzel. So silhouette is a hot mess sometimes, but for this, I mean, it does the rhinestones really good. I bring it out and do it in Adobe, but it does it pretty good. All right, y'all. It has been fun. I haven't hung out with y'all in forever. And I missed Friday night. So I'm glad you guys hung out with me for a little bit. Miss Robin, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Thanks, Karen S. I hope this was helpful. I know switching from, that's why I didn't really want to switch to Adobe. But if you have Adobe, it's something that could be helpful for you. So I did want to show you that. But if there's anything, give me some ideas. Like if there's something, like if you guys, so I was also thinking of doing like a live showing like how I create one of these designs. Um, this is just vinyl, but you can do it with like rhinestones. Like I turned it into rhinestones. I'd probably just show how to do the vinyl version of it, how to create an SVG. I don't know if you guys are interested in something like that. Then maybe the next time I hop on, and I only came on tonight because Romeo Tuesday was a premiere and not a live today. And so I was like, you know what? I miss them. I'm gonna go on and do something that they've been asking for. And so somebody asked, a few of you guys asked for this particular live, or actually a lot of people asked for a video, but nobody got time for that. Nobody has time for that. So we had to do it live, okay? So let's see. Let me see what I missed. So blue paper, scissors, I'm so late. I can't even see the comments. It's a hot mess. If I told y'all how far behind in comments. Oh, thanks, Barb. Thanks, everybody, for being here and watching. I appreciate you guys. This is red. It's like a metallic puff. So Heat Transfer Warehouse has a new, like they have like their metallic puff. Y'all, this came out so good. It came out perfect. So I have a video. I got to edit the video. And when I get off of here, I'm going to record the ending. But y'all, this is puff. But look, it's so pretty. So the gold is also puff too, but it's thinner. So I find that you get like a different effect when you're using like a thinner font as opposed to a thicker font. But it came out so good. This is metallic puff vinyl HTV from Heat Transfer Warehouse. Pretty much I did the same exact thing that I do with the other ones. The only thing different when you guys see the video, you'll see that you have to press it one time first, right? So I pressed it at 280 degrees for 8 seconds. So you're going to press it first, right? When you press it that first time for those 8 seconds, it's still going to be flat. You have to peel it, warm peel. So you're going to peel it, but then you have to press it again without anything on top. So then when you press it again, that's when you get your puff. It's still strange, but that's how this one works. So the first press, you press it. Y'all, this is so beautiful. It is so pretty. So you press it the first time. Good night, Shakita. It is so pretty. So this is the Heat Transfer Warehouse version of it's the Walla Cut metallic puff vinyl. And you press it one time, it's going to be flat. Peel it, warm peel. Then you have to press it again. So this particular one requires 2 pressings. It actually ended up getting 3 presses because I pressed the love. But y'all, this is so pretty. When I tell y'all, it is so pretty. Look at y'all, it's so pretty. Sheila, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sheila. I really appreciate that. Thank you. But y'all, I love this. I'm obsessed with this shirt right now. So if I didn't see if y'all want to see how I do like these designs, like these are really easy. These are the same designs that y'all will see me do, where I'll do vinyl, I'll do sublimation with it, I'll do rhinestones, and I'll do embroidery. You can turn something like this into like one of those designs. But y'all, this is, when I tell y'all it's so pretty, I have been obsessed with this ever since I made it today. And I came home and made this video. It is so gorgeous. Now the glitter vinyl is Caesar, because I love Caesar's glitter vinyl. I love their glitter vinyl. But the rest of it is Heat Transfer Warehouse. Oh, Denzel, you heard the bell. Good. It's top tier, Jolanta. I like everything top tier. Even my noise cancellation. It's perfect. Oh, listen, yo, we have a whole chick series coming out. So Marilyn is right. So if you were here, like what, like the last live I had, or maybe 2 weeks ago or something, there was somebody in the chat and she called me a chick. And so she was like, can y'all even hear this chick? And so it's, if y'all haven't noticed, like I will run something out. Okay. And so Delonda started it because she was like, that's when I was doing the embroidery patches. And she was like, oh, you're one compy chick. And I was like, oh, and guess what? Guess who has a rhinestone template that says one compy chick? Me. So she started with the one compy chick. And then it's been downhill from there. I got my one love chick. Even though in this design, I'm actually going to do one loved teacher. And then I'm also going to do one loved mama. Like I'm going to change chick because it's a joke for me. Like it's like, y'all know. So I'm actually going to change chick to, I'm going to do a design with mama and one with teacher. I was gonna do it with grandma, but I'm like, girl, you gonna keep doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it. Like you're gonna keep going and going and going and going. That's gonna be a lot of things to do with this one design. But I have one love chick, I have one comfy chick, I have one crafty chick. That's what Angel and I were supposed to brush in. One crafty chick. I have one unbothered chick. Have that one. The one that I found, like I had to figure out how to use unbothered, but not like I didn't want it to look like messy. So I had to figure out how, and I'm gonna send you that one. But yeah, that's what we got. I've been working. Y'all traveling from Florida to California, that's a long flight. It's a long flight. So I was putting in a lot of work. One crafty chick, we got that. One loved auntie. Oh, you know me. You know my auntie's probably gonna tell me that. That's what I need to do. For the one loved chick. Oh, that would be nice. That would be nice. The longest jacket wearing chick. You guys are a hot mess. Barb, I am so obsessed with this puff. I cannot wait. I am already like gonna make, like I have some more designs that I'm gonna use the puff with, but I love the metallic puff, how it looks like in person. You have to see it. But you with this one, you have to remember it's, and it puffed like, y'all, like I can't even make up how like perfectly this puffed up. I've been learning from the best, Angel B. Because listen, I had Puff from Heat Transfer Warehouse for a long time. Like maybe 2.5 years ago, they sent me Puff, and they sent like these very bright neon orange colors. So I'm very impressed with this Puff because that Puff, I didn't want to puff no more. I was done puffing. Okay. But as of late, I've been pretty on point with the puff. You just gotta make sure you have good pressure, make sure your temperature is good, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. One powerful chick, one loved crafter. Okay, Miss Roslyn, I can make that. Yeah, this is the Walla brand, but you know sometimes these materials be the same. So did you? This is the Walla brand, the Walla Cut brand. Yep. Thank you. Listen to this chick. One devoted chick. Not much of a puff chick. Y'all are a hot mess. I love it. One blinging chick. Carry in. That's what I'm talking about. One blinging chick. I love it. I love that. I love that. That's perfect. Marilyn, the jacket that she just deboed from me, like she was like, okay, yo, the one that is a hot mess. She literally sent a super chat and was like, okay, take off my jacket. You go. And then she was like, oh, you're one comfy chick. My jacket. Just y'all. One tea sipping chick. I like that. All about business chick. Hot mess chick. Definitely hot mess chick. Definitely. But I love y'all. It's been fun. Marilyn's gonna be on tomorrow night. I'm gonna try to hop on with her if she'll have me. Y'all know sometimes Marilyn be acting funny and stuff, but I don't like to really tell her that. I don't really like to talk about her too much because she does be acting funny sometimes. So she'll be on live tonight. If you're not subscribed to Marilyn's channel, please make sure you head over there, check out her content. Marilyn is very thorough with her tutorials, and she has such a soothing voice. Not like my voice. Her voice is very, very soothing, and she's very informative. So if you aren't over on Making with Marilyn's channel, make sure you go over there, make sure you subscribe, because we're gonna be over there live. We're going to be live tomorrow night, brushing some stones in. That's what we're going to be doing on Marilyn's channel. So make sure you subscribe to her channel if you want to get a bling fix, because Friday we're going to be doing embroidery. Marilyn dropped a link to the file that she's going to be working on. I don't know if I'm going to work on the same file as Marilyn. I'm going to go look at it and see if I want to work on it. But last time, y'all remember, she had a file that she worked on, and I didn't realize that it was so cute. And I regretted not doing her project. So we'll see. But we're working on applique on Friday. So if you're new to embroidery, you want to learn how to applique, that's what we're going to be doing on Friday night. So get your stuff ready if you want to, and check out her template. It's a template that she got from Creative Fabrica, but she picked it out. And that's it. I think that's it. I can't wait until Friday. I can't wait till tomorrow night to hang out with Marilyn. I miss you guys, but I love you guys so much. I truly, 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 truly appreciate your support. I appreciate the fact that you guys take out time to check in on me, take out time to watch these lives and to be interactive, or to be relaxing in the bushes and watching from your TV. Hey, Chris. Hey, Coretta. I know y'all be out there all the time. So if you guys have a good day. If you guys want to hang out with us tomorrow or Friday, please do. But I absolutely love you guys. I cannot even tell you guys how thankful I am of you guys. We will be having more bling boxes for March, starting I think on Friday. So I'll let you guys know once those are available. If you purchase a bling box from me, thank you guys so much. They will be going out tomorrow or Friday. Delonda. Let me bring my microphone closer. Delonda, when is the deadline for the word challenge? Is it tomorrow? Because Marilyn never told me. Well, I looked at it, but me and Marilyn were discussing this, and she was like, "Oh, the deadline's tomorrow." I was like, "Isn't it Friday?" She was like, "No." So Delonda, where is it? Good night, Jesse. Channel. Oh no, no. Friday at midnight. Friday at midnight. Is that like Saturday? Friday at midnight. So after my live, I could upload a picture. I chose a thing. I have like 4 layers of the one thing that I did choose to do, and I changed my word. I changed my word from prayer. I have time then. Central Standard Time. Oh, I'm good to go. But I changed my word from prayer, y'all, because somebody used my word. So I had to change it. And they probably use my word. Prayer doesn't belong to me. They probably been said prayer, but I wanted to use a new word because I saw it. If it was you, it's okay. I'm not upset about it. Prayer is a good word to have. Jesse, you know I love you, Jesse. Oh, Delonda. Dibs, no, I gotta work on my crime voice. I've been so okay, y'all. So y'all know I'm starting this crime this true crime podcast, but I haven't been able to work on it because honestly, the bling boxes have really taken over my life, and just like the preparation of the bling boxes, like doing like it's just taken over completely. So I haven't really been able to even finish my first true crime podcast. So that, but that I do need to work on my voice because I don't really, I listen to myself and I don't really have a true crime voice. So this might not be the smartest thing for me. I don't have a true crime voice. I don't know how to make my voice lower. Like I don't know. Like I don't know. I don't know. So maybe, I just need to find something else to do. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. Isn't that so weird, Kieran? That's so weird. Hey, Miss Gail. Miss Gail says she's still using her word. I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. Use your word. That is your word. But I like my new word. That word is still my word still. But I like my new word because I like it. I'll probably explain it to you guys once I unveil it, but I don't want to say it now. Some of you probably still got it, but still, I'm not going to say it on this live. Miss Gail, of course, I got my tea. I have my tea. But I love you guys. It's been fun. Can't wait for the next time. Maybe we'll make this like a thing for whenever I do have time to come on and hang out. I have time now because guess what? All of the bling boxes are packed up. Like they're all packed up. They're ready to ship out. So I had a little bit of time and I miss you guys. But I love you guys. Have an amazing rest of your week. Remember to be kind, smile. You might brighten somebody's day up, and don't take anything too personal. And be forgiving. I love you guys. Until next time, y'all.